Hello, beautiful people. Hello, how are you? Okay, I can see the green now. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, when you be going live, it seems like all of my systems just be going crazy, like real life crazy. Can't unplug that because that's go to the light. Okay, one moment, y'all. Give me one moment. 1 minute. 1 month. 1 moment. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. I don't know what that was, but it's a no. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, my camera is working better now. Thank you for tuning in to Sunday Night Dinner and Convo, Nurturing Conversations. Tonight's topic is love of self. Love of self. I told y'all yesterday, hold on, y'all know I can't be out here in these YouTube streets with ashy lips. So ashy lips. Or dry lips, should I say. Um Okay. I told y'all yesterday we were going to talk about love of self. There's so many different things you could talk about when it comes to loving yourself or self love or understanding a self or just loving all about you. Um, Tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. Let me go ahead and get my disclaimers out the way. One, I do not tolerate disrespect in no way, shape, form, or fashion. That is towards me or towards anyone that appears on the screen or in the chat. There will be curse words, there will be tears, my opinions are my opinions, and your opinions are your opinions. And that's why we are here to have a nurturing conversation on any topic that is discussed right here. If you appear on this channel, you are giving me permission to broadcast you on all of the platforms which this here broadcast is being broadcast on. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like or the follow button, whichever platform you are tuned in on. I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life brings to you. Those are my disclaimers. I think I'm forgetting one, but if I remember it, of course, I'm just going to say it. Tonight's topic is love of self. Um, I should also say that I'm going to speak from my own personal experiences. I think I just said that, but I'm going to speak from my own personal experiences. And if you have experiences that are opposite of mine, feel free to chime in. I mean, but that's what we're here to have a conversation. What does it mean to have love of self? It's having the highest regard for your own happiness, your own safety, your own security, belief, trust, all of those things in yourself. All the things that we are quick to give to someone else. I feel like oftentimes we forget to give that same measure to ourselves. Mainly because it's not talked about. Loving ourselves isn't talked about as much. I almost got a little tongue tied right there. Um, we are oftentimes like encouraged to love others. Funny thing is, like the two greatest commandment is love thy neighbor as thyself, right? Like I think that's the first commandment, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and sometimes I feel like we forget that. Like we forget that in order for someone to love me, I have to first love myself. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, my computer just started doing some weird. Now it's froze. Hmm. I'm telling y'all, before I go live, I don't have any problems out of my computer at all. But the moment I hit that go live button, problems. It'd be problems in Harlem. Um, yeah. But I feel like we don't talk about love of self as much. As you may know, maybe you don't know, I am currently on a journey of healing and self discovery. Oh, I feel great every time I say that. Um, I decided to go on this journey last year, the beginning January of 2020. And I just wanted to no longer carry around the shit that I've been carrying around my entire life. I didn't want to carry around childhood traumas. I didn't want to carry around trauma, period. I don't want to carry around bitterness, anger. I don't want to carry any of that. So then I'm like, I had a really bad breakup, and it was just like, I just need to find me. I need to find me. I need to get back to the person that I know that I am. And so I went on this journey, and the journey took me it started with my parents. Actually, it started with me um letting go of things. That's where it started. And as I began to go on this journey, ugh, as I began to journey, I began to understand that a lot of the situations from my past was affecting how I saw myself presently. And I didn't put those two together, but therapy, I'm gonna always be an advocate for therapy. But therapy helped me put the two together, connect the two, and then I started to realize, like, in this journey, I say, I don't really love myself. And when you come to the conclusion that you don't really love yourself, some people, I'm gonna say this, right? Some people know that they don't really love themselves and they continuously do the same thing. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. If you put someone else's um thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions before yours, I will go as far as to say you don't love yourself. Because if you really loved yourself, like if someone says, um hey, I want you to come here and go with me, and you're like, no, I really don't feel like it, but they keep saying it a couple of more times, and then you feel like pressured to do it, and then you do it, you don't love yourself. Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't do it. Especially if you have this moment like, I really don't want to do it. That's your body, your mind, your heart, that's everything in your being saying, don't do it. But sometimes we don't listen to that. You ever had this moment where yourself, I'm gonna say yourself, some people call it the small voice, first mind. You ever had a moment where it was like, I probably shouldn't do this, but then you was like, nah, ain't nothing gonna happen, and then something happens, and then you be like, damn, I should have followed my first mind. Is that, like, we tell ourselves, like, ourselves try to protect us, but we don't listen sometimes because we be thinking like, why would I do that? Why would I say that? Sometimes yourself be telling you to cuss people out, but you don't cuss people out. Why? Because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. No, that's a really bad analogy, but sometimes people need to be cussed out. Some they do. Sometimes they do. But we're talking about tonight the love of self, overcoming anxiety, exploring creativity, the love of ourselves, like putting our needs, our wants before anyone. Not realizing, like, it's not a bad thing to love yourself. Let me say that. It is not a bad thing to love yourself. Most people will have you feel like it's a bad thing to love yourself. It's really not. In the exception of if you're like really like the N word that people be throwing around, not that N word, but like narcissist. Yeah, it's a difference between that. But we're talking about, like, if you're always putting other people's thoughts, feelings, everything in front of your own, some part of you seems to get less, smaller. And before you know it, you're just a robot operating out of habit. Hmm, that was pretty good. Operating operating out of habit. Sometimes situations in our life causes us to not love ourselves. I know that sounds so weird, but sometimes situations in our life causes us not to love ourselves, especially if we grow up um in environments where it's always get money, get money or die trying, or like It's always the next what's the next big thing? Like if you never take time for yourself, like even something as small as taking a nap. I'm gonna talk about me, right? So before, I'm gonna say before my 30s, oh, I was on the go. I was on the go all the time. If I caught a nap, it was because I sat down for too long and my body was like sleep. But I was on the go all the time. And then I crossed over into 30 and I realized the power of a nap. You know, they have this thing called power naps. Oh, I realized the power of a nap. Then as I got to my mid 30s, I started to understand why sleep is important. You know, people be like, I don't never get tired or I don't get tired. I get tired. Sleep is important because it allows your body to rejuvenate itself. It re-heals itself. Reheals. It allows your body to heal itself. If your body is never sleeping, if your body is never on pause or just still for a moment, it can't do that. It's constantly working, and that's why people burn out or crash and burn as they call it. You see people be drinking those energy drinks, and then when they come off the energy drinks, it'd be like, whoa, that's because you pumping yourself full of caffeine and stuff to keep you going. No, you gotta sleep. You gotta rest. I've been juicing for 76 days now. 76 days. The first time I was juicing, or last year when I started juicing, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna juice. It was a challenge for me. It was a challenge to see if I can do it, right? And as I was juicing, I learned like, you know, what I could eat, what I couldn't eat. I learned that working out helps. I learned that sleep is the most important part of all of that. Also, the environment that I was in, like surrounding myself with positivity, putting positivity in my ear gate. Because whether you believe it or not, what goes in your ear, you probably like, if you ever notice, if you've been scrolling on like Facebook, we're just going to use Facebook right now. If you ever scroll on Facebook for a long time, like before you get on Facebook, you be feeling one kind of way. But as you scroll on Facebook and you read the statuses, and it's just like, your mood kind of change after a couple of them. Like sometimes you might laugh, ha ha ha, kiki, and you know, hit the like or whatever. But as you keep scrolling, it just change. That's because what you see and what you hear or the environments that you are in, it like, I don't want to say, it's like a sponge. Like you soak up some of those things. You got to change your environment. You got to surround yourself with positivity. I was juicing. Once I started meditating and doing positive affirmations or positive sayings every morning, I realized the change in myself. Like I said, I didn't want to carry around negativity, bitterness, anger. I didn't want to carry around those things. And the only way that you can not carry around those things is to sit in the moment in which those things came into your life. So I had to go to some really, really tough moments in my life. Moments where, you know, you just throw them in the back of your head, they locked back in there. No, I had to go to those moments and I had to literally sit with those moments and sit and say, why does this make me angry? Why do I feel anger right now? And then when I discover why I feel anger, and it's like, but why did I feel angry? Why what made me angry? It's not the individual, it was something about the situation that made me angry, and once I discovered that it wasn't something that happened in that present tense, it was something from previous situations. And then when I went to that previous situation and I just sat there and I was just like, "You know what? That's why it's important. This is why it's important for you to deal with things or talk about things in the very moment that they happen. Talk about them. I know it's uncomfortable for us to have these conversations. It's uncomfortable for us to like talk about how we feel. That's why I have nurturing conversations because I don't mind talking. But it's uncomfortable for some people to talk about how they feel and then they harbor that hatred or angerness or bitterness on the inside of them. And then sometimes this what happened to me, right? Like I was holding on to something and it literally weighed me down. It weighed me down because I'm sitting here thinking like, I can't believe this person actually did this to me. I can't like out of all people in the world, I can't believe you did it to me. And you did it to me. And so as I was holding on to something, the thought came into my mind was like, what if this person don't even know what you know? Like, yeah, they was there, but what if they don't know? Or what if it wasn't their intentions to come off the way that they came off? And I was just like, oh, that's, but no, they said it, so they know. And so in my mind, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should take they say walk a mile in another person's shoes, but maybe I should look at this from another person's perspective. So I put myself in that person's perspective, and I was just like, no, I'm not walking around with this. So I gave him a phone call and I was like, hey, listen, this is what happened. This is how I felt. And they was like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. It was just, and it got resolved. And for me, it was like I was carrying that around for so long, and they didn't even look at it the way I looked at it. I was just like, oh no, you didn't. Me out of all people. But when I made my grievance, I made my grievance known. It wasn't what it was. And that was just me interpreting, when you be in an environment, you just like, oh no, you didn't. You just not me. Not me, you didn't. Mm-mm. But what I realized was sometimes people treat us how they see we treat ourselves. I'm getting good. Hold on. I'm getting good at putting my thoughts together. People treat us the way they see us treat ourselves. I'm gonna write this down. That's gonna be my motivation for in the morning. People treat you, see you treat yourself. And so, coming to that understanding, I started to think like, like they be like, do unto others as you will have them do unto you, right? And so I'm light, love, and positivity. I only want people to feel light, love, and positivity. I want you to feel loved. When I talk to you, I want you to know that I'm actually paying attention. I'm not listening so I can quickly respond. Well, no, I'm listening. I'm getting the full of what you're saying. And then I realized that I do this thing, right? Where I will listen to you talk. If we're having a conversation, I will listen to you talk and I will repeat exactly word for word the thing that you said and then ask you, is this what you meant? Is this what you meant? And oftentimes what I realize is that when people be talking, they just rattling off what's in their head. They don't take the time to like put it together. A lot of people don't take the time to put it together. They just rattle it off because some people don't want to forget, and some people, ooh wee. Hmm. But yeah, love of self. I realized that I did not love myself mainly because I never even thought to care for myself. I mean, I care for myself, brush my teeth, wash my face. I made sure, take a shower, clean clothes. Like I cared for myself, but like care for myself, I wasn't really caring for myself. I wasn't trying to eat good or healthy or anything. Like I was just eating whatever I wanted. That's just what I was eating. And then as I journeyed on the journey of healing and self-discovery, it was just like you are really destroying your body. You're really destroying your body. Sweets. And I just began to look at myself and I was like, I don't want to be like this. Like that's the first step to like the first step to recovery is admitting you're wrong, admitting I eat bad or I just don't care for myself. That was the first step for me. And then when I started like, okay, what does that mean? I don't care for myself. I don't somebody say something to me, I don't want to do something, I would never just open my mouth and be like, I don't want to do that or I don't want to go there. It's not what I want to do. I was just, okay, let's do it. And part of that was because I had a fear of rejection. And because I fear rejection, um, it caused me to do a lot of things that if I would have like acknowledged the that I didn't love myself, I probably wouldn't have done them. But I'm grateful. Let me say this. I'm grateful for every experience I ever had in my life because it has helped me be the woman that I am today. Oh, I definitely love myself today. Definitely. If you can't tell, I definitely do. Um, Self love. When you love yourself, or when you love everything about you, right? I'm about to- I love um before, when I first had like the stuttering, right? I hated it. I hated it. And I'm gonna tell you why I hated it. I hated it because people around me would make fun of people who stuttered. And they would make, when I say make fun, I shouldn't say make fun. I mean, like, they were really mean to like people that stuttered, right? And so I stuttered, and I was just like, I don't want people to make fun of me. So I kind of like slowed down when I was talking, or if if I like repeat it or had to take the breath. I don't know if you know someone that stutters, or if you are a stutterer. It's the like the breath that you have to take before you start speaking. Oh, it's a whole process. So I wouldn't like people was like, "Did you just stutter?" And I would laugh it off like, "Yeah, I just stuttered." And then I would go home and I would feel bad because I was like, again, people would make fun of people that was stuttering. And I didn't want people to make fun of me. So I just figured out, I'll just talk faster, because if you talk really fast, you don't stutter. But as I got older and I went to therapy, and I realized like I had real life trauma happen to me. Like real life trauma happened to my brain. So that's not something I can change. I can't change that I had trauma. I can't change that. I have to live with the results of that trauma. And for me, it was just like accepting that for me. The more, it was like the more, now that I think about it, it was like the more that I was like non accepting of it, the more I stuttered. But once I sat with it, it was like, hey, I have a stutter. I have a strong stutter. It was like the less that is so crazy. It was like the more I accepted it, the less I stuttered. And then even when I even when I stutter now, it's just like it's funny to me. It's not funny like ha ha, but it's funny like I can't believe that I was like really tripping off of stuttering. Like it was something I have no control over that. I have no control over stuttering. And then I started to think about the people that was making fun of the people who stutter, and I was just like, why do we do that? Why do we make fun of things that we don't understand, or we don't know, or we don't even care to know? Like, why do we make fun of things that are different from us? I always used to I used to say all the time, like, I root for the underdog. Cause I was the underdog. I always root for the underdog, or the person that's different, or the person that has the thought that's just like, why you think like that? You weird. For me, I like those people. I don't like groupthink. I'm not a fan of groupthink. What is groupthink is where everybody think alike. I'm not a fan of that. I have a serious case of I can't, it's a no for me when it comes to groupthink. I don't want to think. That's why like in my friend group, or my circle, um, I want people that thinks. I want people to have opposite opinions. Like when I come here, I like to have conversations with people. If you're going to agree with everything I say, I don't know. I just seem that as being weird. Love. I realized that I didn't love myself because I never, like, when I say never, I've accomplished so many things in my life. Yes, I had trauma. Yes, whew, I had all of those, like, I had so many negative moments in my life, but as I began to think about it, let me tell you, I literally would tell people, like, I could not, I've never celebrated anything that I have accomplished in my life. I've never celebrated, but I will always pinpoint the negative things that happen in my life. The crazy thing is more positive things happen in my life, but it was the negative things that was, like, seared into my brain, so it always, like, overshadowed the positive things. And for me, going on a journey of healing and self-discovery, saying, "Hey, Chelle, you really don't love yourself." That's a real life, that's a moment. That's a moment like most people won't take to say, "You are uncomfortable. You are unhappy. You are sad. You are angry." Like, we don't give ourselves those moments because we are too busy trying to already live for the next moment. For me, I know how to press pause. Okay. I am unhappy. Earlier this year, I would say the end of January, beginning of February, I was unhappy. And I was unhappy because I was like, man, I can put a plan together and I could get all of the resources and I could do all of that. And then it just be like, phew, like my energy for it, everything just be like, phew. And I was like, what is going on with me? Like, I really was trying to figure out what was going on with me. And I just sat and I looked at all the stuff that I created, all the stuff that I put together. Um, and I thought, like, what is it? And then that's how I was able to recognize that I was a procrastinator. I don't know. I'm gonna say I didn't know, but I do know when I became a procrastinator. It's because when I was you turn stuff in early and be all prompt, and it seemed like it wasn't like rewarded. So when you would turn stuff in late or like just in the nick of time, people was like, "Oh, you did a good job. You got that in." And so that it was the reward part of being late or taking my time that was just like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty dope. So I'm gonna be late all the time." But now, once I recognize that I'm a procrastinator, I'm not a procrastinator anymore, or I'm a recovering procrastinator. Um, I sat down the other day and planned out the content for the rest of March, and I do have videos backed up that I need to upload, but I'll get those uploaded this week. And I just it seemed different for me. Like even with juicing, right? Before I was just like throwing, online reading, okay, what juice goes together? But now I real life like see, I go to the fruits and I see the health benefits of the fruits. And then I look at fruit combinations. When I tell y'all, like it's a whole big old thing now. Before it's just like, yeah, I'm just juicing, throw some fruit in there. Now it's like, okay, what are the health benefits of these fruits? Like, how is it going to help me? Like, does it help digestion? Does it help weight loss? Does it help um metabolism? Does it help? Like what does it help? That's what I want to know. Like I don't want to like replace something with something worse. Like I was thinking about becoming a vegan, but then I was like, I don't want to eat soy and I don't want to eat, and then it was like you have to like I was going to like there's so many different diets, like low carbs, high carbs, low calorie. I knew diets wasn't going to work for me. I don't like to replace one thing with another. I like to just I'ma just drink juice. And for me, it's like fruit juices, fruit and vegetable juices, and understanding the combinations and then adding ginger and adding the different like turmeric and cayenne has definitely worked with me. I have fibromyalgia and I haven't had a real bad flare up. Hi Jamela. I haven't had a real bad flare up. I want to say since the end of 2020. I haven't had a real bad one. And that's because I realized, like, of course, they give me medicine for like fibromyalgia, muscle relaxers, all of that stuff, but I can't take that. I don't like the feeling of like not I don't like that feeling. So I was like, I need to find an alternative. And I started looking into turmeric, anti-inflammatory. Telling you, I'll be recognizing all these. I started looking into turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start putting more things that are beneficial to my body into my body. It's like once you in your teens and your 20s, you ain't worried about your body because you like I'm gonna be around forever. But once you cross over into 30, honey, you like, oh, I'm about to be 50. You only 30, but you like, oh, I'm about to be 50. Then you start being more health conscious. Then you start working out more. Then it's like you spending more time at home or you spending more time with the people you love because you like, you know what? I'm older now. older. You only 30. But once I cross over into 30s, more I started paying more attention. That's when I started going to therapy too, because I was just like, I don't want to I don't want to carry around things that do not belong to me. I don't want to carry around the hurt from someone else that just inflicted it on me because I was there. Like, like the punching bag. I was just there. So you punched on me because I was there. You yelled at me because I was there. The person you should have been yelling at, you didn't yell at. Um, and I didn't want to hold anything in. I got tired of holding thing in. I got tired of taking taking the punches and wanting to say something but not saying something because I was more concerned about how the person that is punching me is going to I was more concerned with how the person that was punching me was going to feel. And they're punching me. How am I more concerned How am I more concerned about the person who's punching me and not concerned about myself being punched? And I don't mean like a literal punch, but if you are being literally punched, you definitely should be more concerned about yourself, especially if you have kids. If you have kids, you should not only just think about yourself, but you should also think about your kids and what that is displaying to your kids. I was having a conversation earlier and I said, I don't have kids. Let me I have to say that because sometimes, people will be like, you don't have kids, so you don't know. I don't have kids, but I've raised a hell of a lot of them, right? I understand that kids are little human beings. Like we were like, oh, that's an adult and I could talk to them. But kids are little human beings. They're little miniature versions of whoever the parents are. So whatever happens in their environment, if you ever paid attention to a child, they mimic that. So you ever if your child goes to school and they're being bullied, there's something going on in that child's home that they are mimicking, like talking about people. They're hearing you. If you on the phone gossiping with your good Judy or your bro, your friend, whoever, and you gossiping, your kids hear that. Like I said, people used to talk about people who stutter around me. They used to talk about them. They used to talk about them so bad. And as a defense mechanism back in the days, I would laugh knowing thank you. Knowing that I had a stutter problem. This is something that sorry, y'all. This is something that I want to talk about. I'm definitely going to have a whole conversation around homosexuality. I had it one last year, but I feel like I need to have another one. And this is mainly because I heard someone tell a child. It was like on TikTok. And I heard the person say, "Well, you may feel like you gay, but you can't be gay until you get out of my house." I don't know why, but that like pierced a part of me that was just like, how how do you have you something is growing on the inside of you, or if you are a male, you are like watching the baby grow on the other side. But how do you allow something to grow on the inside of you? It's attached to you. You watch what you eat, you watch the environments you be in, you're really protective of it. Not saying it like that, but you're really protective of the child before they actually make their entrance into the world. And then once they get here, it's like, you are not the thing that I want you to be, so I don't want you anymore. That's like disowning your child. For me, when I heard that, I literally like I balled up. It wasn't said to me. I'm a grown ass woman, but it wasn't said to me. But in my mind, I said I could only imagine the thing that child is struggling with. Not only are they gay, where we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room because people would rather their child be something other than being gay. Like being gay is like the end all be all. Oh, you gay? I just can't. Lord, why did you give me this child? Like that's the. But for me, it was like you didn't take the time to hug your child. You didn't take your time. Like kids are born in all different ways, shapes, form, and fashions, and we'd be okay with that until that child gets to the age where it says, I don't like what you feel like I should like. Then it's you're going to live in my house. You're going to do what I say. I get it. I'm not trying to tell any child to be disrespectful to their parents. What I'm saying is to parents, be more aware of your child. Be more aware of the things that are going on with your child. That's why love of self is important, because if you as an adult love who you are and the things that you put out into the world, if you love your hair, if you love your face, the dimples, the freckles, the I got chicken pox scars. Y'all see them. I I love everything about me. Like that's what makes me unique. But if you as a parent don't love yourself, you indirectly pass that on to your child. And now your child don't want to disappoint you as their parent. So what are they going to do? They're going to deny who they are to please you. And then what does that teach them? That teaches them, this is why love of self, this is why we need to be taught, like we need to be taught that it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to not want to wear what everybody else wears. It's okay not to do what everybody, it's okay to have your own opinion. I am so grateful that I grew up in a family that, encouraged having your own opinion. Like it wasn't, oh, I'm the adult and you should do as I say, or whatever the quote is do as I say and not as I do, or whatever. Like they encouraged us to talk. Like, okay, we actually sat at the table and was like, okay, why do you not agree with that? Or what is your perspective on it? And that for me was like, so I don't know what it's like to feel some kind of way. And that's why I come here. That's why I have nurturing conversations, because I want to know other people's perspective. Like I don't I know that if I had a child, I would not tell a child that they can't be gay until they get out of my house, or until they, you know, or put them out. Or I would never do that to my child, especially given the world that we live in right now. But I know I'm gonna have a whole conversation around it, because I don't understand the how being homosexual is such a big thing. I don't understand that. And maybe it's because I'm a homosexual. I don't even think that. But I don't even understand. I mean, let me stop saying I don't understand. I do understand how it became such a big thing. I just don't understand the disconnect from parents and their child or their children. I don't understand that. I get the cultural differences. I get all of that. But I don't understand how as a parent you disown your child because they are loving the opposite person. Love of self. I'm gonna keep saying that. I know y'all was like, you just went on a little tangent. No, I really had to say that, because if you are a parent and you're telling your child they can't be gay until they get out of your house, you are doing a lot of damage to your child. And you probably just like, well, I'm the adult and I pay the bills and I do all this, but at the same time, you are an adult and you should allow. I'm gonna say this again. If you protected your child before your child even made it into this world, you should have that same measure of protection as they are here. I personally, me personally, I feel like your house where you grow up, the familial unit that you grow up in, that is your first defense against outside. Well, nowadays it's the internet. So it's like kind of already in your house, but that's the first defense. If your parents aren't loving, if your parents are supporting and your brothers and sisters aren't loving and supporting, you don't really have a defense. Like you don't know what it's like to you don't know what it's like to be loved. So of course you go out here and you think because somebody be like, "Oh girl, your hair is cute," or "Hey bro, those shoes is nice." You don't know, like they're just paying you a compliment. You feel like, okay, let me gravitate to them. So they could say, hey, we about to go over here. Hey, come get in the car. You don't know the car stolen. You just like, hey, they cool. So let me hop in the car with them. Hi, the love empire. Next thing you know, the car is stolen and both of y'all going to jail. For what? You just thought you was just riding with your friend. That's why I feel like we need to have more conversations. And so I will be the conversation starter. That's what I'm going to do. I figured last year when I started doing, was it last year or was it 2020? I think it was 2020 I started doing um Sunday night dinner and convo. One of these years I started doing it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um cuz I feel like we don't talk about things. We don't talk about trauma. We don't talk about loving ourselves. We don't talk about um Silence. We don't talk about family traumas because we don't talk about family trauma. You don't. What happens in this house stays in this house. We don't talk about brew. No, no, no. Um, we don't talk about things like that. And then the kids grow up to be adults and now they are having kids. And then it's just like the generational curses continue. I had this thing where it's like, people when people say generational curses, for me, it just be like, do you even know what you're saying? Like, do you understand the breakdown of the words that you are saying? I don't think most people do. I think it's just cool or cliche to say, oh, I'm breaking generational curses. Because in my mind, I'd be thinking like, generational curses mean that the generation before you had the same curse, but nobody had the courage. Can I say that? Nobody had the courage to stand up against the curse. So that's how it got to you, or no one has the wherewithal to say, hey, this has been passed down 6 generations and now it's here with me. I'm the type of person, it's a no for me. I'm not anything happen in my family. Oh, I'm definitely talking about it. If I see it, I'm talking about it. I don't care who it is. You might be mad. You might be mad as ever, but guess what? You're going to be thankful at the end of the conversation. You're going to be thankful. You ever had somebody, you ever been in class and the teacher was talking or saying something and it was always that one person that always spoke up, and you probably been like, you probably was silent. You probably didn't say anything. You were probably just silent. And then at the end of the class, you was like, thank you for saying something because, oh, I wanted to say something. Or you ever been at work and somebody really was pressing your buttons and then your manager or somebody came over and was like, smooth the thing over where you ain't had to say nothing? It's one of those moments. For me, I can't do generational curses. I can't. Generational, that means it has been passed down. People before you have had it. There's no way, is again, this is my personal opinion. There is no way that if you are a mother or a father and you have been molested, that you do not talk to your child about sexual abuse, being touched in an inappropriate manner. There's no way that shouldn't happen. That should be the first conversation. Like while you're talking about the birds and wait, do people still talk about the birds and the bees? Or is it a new thing? I don't know. I don't have kids, but if you are a parent and those you had those experiences, I personally believe parents should tell the kids or their children, teenagers, their adult children, the things that they struggle with. Why do you feel like that, Shell? I feel like you should tell them so that they'll know, like, you are human. Some of us look up to our parents like they are just superhuman, like they just like we know in our mind, we know that you're human, but like we look up to you like you are the end all be all, like you are just superwoman, Superman, Batman, whoever you want to be. And so if you tell us your personal experiences, so this is what happened to me. Like when I went on my journey of healing self-discovery, I went back and I talked to my parents because I felt like y'all my parents. Y'all should have did whatever y'all needed to do, but when I went back to talk to them, it was different this time. And it was different because I went to therapy. It was different because I was able to see them as human beings. So I wanted to know what it was like. So my father told me his story and how all of the stuff came to be. And my mom told me her story and how all the stuff came to be. And I could see parallels between the two of them. I could see parallels between me. And I was just like, holy shit, here I am hating people, or not necessarily, I didn't hate them. I love them. They're my parents. But I just didn't understand, right? I didn't understand how you could have a daughter as fine as me and you wasn't even trying to be a part of my life. I couldn't understand that. Not at all. I tried, but I couldn't. And I just figured the only people that would tell me is them. So once I started to talk to them and understand their stories and understand how they got to the point where they was, it was just like, I'm sorry. And I know you probably like you didn't owe them an apology. They owed you an apology. But the reality of it was I'm sorry that no one took the time to help them understand what they were going through or help them um make it through their personal issues or help them understand those positions in life. Like you hear parents talk about parenting doesn't come with a rule book, but if you think about it, right? If your grandmother had 12 kids, or even if she had one or two, right? She has experience. If she has 10 kids, or let's just say she has three, because back in the days they was having 10, 13, but now it's like one, maybe one or two. Let's just say they had two, right? So it's like your mother and her brother, right? Your grandmother has experience raising kids. So now you have two. Life didn't come with a rule book, but your mother just raised two kids. So I'm pretty sure that um, she could tell you what it's like to raise a child. No, I get every child is different, everybody is different, but at the same time, we all have there's a basic level of love, respect, trust. There's a basic level of that. And you could build from that. So if hey mom, I have, this daughter, I'm just trying to figure out how to, make it work. She could provide that information. And then as raising your child, you could provide that information to your child. So it's like I used to love I used to love talking to the elders in my family. I say used to because some of them aren't here anymore, and some of them, we're not in the space. Like I'm the type of person I like to go sit at their house and listen to them talk because they're gonna make they're gonna make hot water cornbread. They're gonna make some good food. That's what I miss. I miss food from back in the days, like food when people was cooking and love was in there. So I used to go and talk with the older people in my family and understand, like, if you ever talk to the people that grew up in the South and then they made the great migration north. I'm gonna tell you, I read in my history book, and I went to predominantly white school, so I watched. Y'all know what I watched about the South, and about y'all know what I watched. So when I would talk to my great aunts and listen to them tell me the story about what it was like to live in the South, and then what it was like to come up here, and how many of them wouldn't go back down South because they found solace here. And I was just like, I never heard it from that perspective. I've never heard it from that perspective. I heard it from the other perspective. It was like, yeah, it was Jim Crow and all these other things, until you actually talk to someone who was actually there, and their experiences is totally different from what you read in the history books. That's why they don't want that critical race theory. Yes, I said it, critical race theory. They don't want that to be taught, because then you have to look at it from a different perspective. So when I would talk to the older people, they will say, my uncle would call it oral traditions. Like they would tell us, like, I don't know if your people, but my people are from Mississippi, Chickasaw and Choctaw, Mississippi, right? And they would eat this red clay. I'm gonna call it clay because I get disgusted when I think about it being dirt. But they would eat red clay, and every time my grandmother would go down south, she would bring it back in a big bowl, and she would just be eating it. And you a little kid, you don't know. You just like, can I have some? And she was giving it to me, and I'm just eating it. I didn't even know it was dirt until I got older, and I'm just sitting here. But it was just a piece of tradition that was like passed down, and then I started to on my journey of healing and self-discovery, I started to do ancestry. Now, I didn't do the DNA. I didn't do the DNA, but I started to do ancestry, right? And the craziest thing, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional right here. The craziest thing is, all my life, I hated being a teacher. I hated it. I don't even want to be a teacher. I don't know. It's a no. When it comes to teaching, it's a no for me. I did my ancestry and I went back six. Now, I don't know all of this terminology, but I know I was able to go back to six people above me, right? Ooh, where did that come from? Y'all see my face? Got a little. Anyways, I went back six people above me, right? And so when I went back six people above me, I was able to go like this way. And that's from talking to your elders. If you are doing ancestry, or you are doing anything, family tree or anything, talk to your elders. That's your great aunts, your great uncles, grandmas. Talk to them because they got all of the family history. So I'm talking to them and I'm putting all this stuff together. And then I sit back and I look at the family tree, and there's like professors. So the three things that stuck out on my family tree: entrepreneurship, music, and education. The largest majority of my family is education. Those are the largest majority of my family. Every generation has a number of professors, um, currently to this day, professors. Um, and I was just like, then there's my generation. And I was just like, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. And then I want to say this, I knew the entire time, or on the journey of healing and self discovery, I discovered that everything that I have the greatest objection to is the very thing that I should be doing. I told y'all I didn't want to be a teacher, right? Last year, um, last year on my journey of healing and self discovery, I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting wanting to not be a teacher. I stopped fighting my ability to teach people things. I stopped fighting it. And it was like the moment I stopped fighting, it was like the world was just like, oh, I kid you not. So that's the second time that happened, because I remember in the beginning I told y'all once I like denied, the more I denied the stuttering, the more upfront it was, but the once the moment I accepted it, it's just like it just faded away. Y'all might not hear it, but I hear it. Like I have the breath before I, it's a whole process. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a teacher. And then when I was like, be a teacher, because in my mind, this is what I thought. This is why I didn't want to be a teacher. In my mind, I was like, I cannot be in a classroom and somebody be disrespectful or say so or put their hands on me. Y'all be seeing these teachers be, well, nowadays teachers be doing other stuff with kids, but y'all, there was this long period of time where kids was, getting bucked with the teachers. It's a no for me. So I didn't want to be no teacher because kids are smart. Kids talk smart. Kids be, no, I didn't want to do that. But once it was just like, I'm going to be a teacher, I figured out how I'm going to do it. I figured out how I'm going to do it. And I was like, let me test this out. And I tested it out and boom, it worked just like that. I said, you know what? Let me figure out what else I am denying myself of. I deny myself of being a teacher. Boom, I'm a teacher. I deny myself of being a live streamer. I denied that for a long time. And I feel like I'm pretty good at live streaming now. I said last night, I feel like I'm more of a live streamer than a YouTuber. Like I like making videos. Don't get me wrong. I do like making videos. I'm broadcasting right now on YouTube. But I like the live more. I like the personable interaction. I like the ability to talk to you at this present time. I like that. I like that more than just uploading a video and a couple of people watching it and commenting. That's cool. I don't get me wrong. I love YouTube. I do. But I like live talking, live connecting with people. But had I not went on a journey of healing and self-discovery, I'm going to tell you what I would not have learned. I would not have learned that I did not love myself. Would not have learned it. I would not have learned. I came to this conclusion. This is what I came to my conclusion of, I would not have let a lot of things go if I had not went on a journey of healing and self-discovery. I said the other day, I am so grateful for, while I am not grateful for the way that it ended, I am grateful for the ending of my last relationship. And I'm going to tell you why. I am grateful that it ended because knowing me, would have never ended it. I would have never ended it. I would have tried to make it work to the ends of the earth. And even after the ends of the earth, I would have still tried to make it work. And that was me in just really trying to make it work. But I'm grateful that it ended. Before, I was confused. I was all of those things. But then it was a learning experience for me. Y'all probably looking like, why is she happy? It was a learning experience for me that I will forever be grateful for. Because now in this space, it helped me understand, hi Journey with Kiki. It helped me understand um my connection with wanting to help people. It helped me understand my connection with holding on so tight. Even when I say, I don't know how you could do that to me, like who am I that like fucked up shit wouldn't happen to me? I'm a human. Fucked up shit happen every fucking day, but who am I to think that it wouldn't happen to me? In this last year, life proved that every fucking thing that I thought would never happen to me happened to me. And you know what I did? That's all I'm gonna tell you. Two things. You can overcome anything that life throws at you. And number two, you are not alone. I overcame. I'm gonna say overcame. I walked through every one of those situations and I am sitting here today greater because of those things. Greater. I learned how to let go. Part of love of self is letting go. Letting go of things that don't serve you. This phrase right here for me, I have a different I'm gonna say it and then I'm gonna tell you my version of this phrase, right? People will be like, it's easy to walk away from something, or it's easier said than done. That's what they'll say. It's easier said than done. In my mind, the way me who I am, right? I think or I feel, not think or I feel. Um People say that because number one, they recognize how hard it's going to be to do the opposite of that. And number two, they're not ready to do the opposite of that. Because me in my mind, once I think like, or once previous situation, once it was like, okay, it's over. It wasn't like, let me fight to get you back. Let me do none of that. It was like, it's over. So that moment in my mind, it was like, it was over. The next moment after that, I was moving forward. I wasn't pressing pause. I wasn't stopped. I wasn't stopped at a stop. It was I was moving forward. Let me do the next couple of steps, the next things that I want to do that's going to push me forward. So when people say, "Oh, it's easier said than done to quit smoking," but the reality of it is if somebody told you that you go to the doctor and you find out you have cancer, guess what you're going to stop doing? You might be like, well, I'm gonna smoke a couple. No, 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 no. Once you find out that you have cancer, and it's not making light of anybody who have cancer, you have my prayers, my heart, light and love to you. This is once you find that out, you ain't gonna go back to smoking. Like once you find out that somebody is cheating on you, you probably be like, but he paid my bills or she paid my bills and she do all that. But the innermost part of you is like, let them go. Finally, you can move on. You can leave them. Run. You probably hear it. Run. You was looking for a way to get out. Run. But sometimes we don't be paying attention to those still small voices because we be trying to hold on to the material stuff, or we be trying to hold on to that I don't want to be alone, or we be trying to hold on to that. But I feel like life be giving us exits all the time. We just don't be taking them. Me included. Me included. So I say I would have never, and then it wasn't a bad thing for me to say I would have never left that. For me, it was just I knew I would have never left. Number one, because I loved, not loved, I love them. And I'm not like in love, but I love them. I will always love the thing that she did for me. I will always love that. But I loved her to the point where it was detrimental to myself. And I can recognize that. Like, you ever love something and get lost in it, and then before you know it, you don't even recognize yourself? Yeah, I was lost in it. I was so lost up in it, lost in it. And that was one of the part of the reason was like, no, you don't, no, that's not, no, no. So journey and healing and self discovery was best thing in therapy. Therapy. You can go to therapy and you can have Jesus. It's called balance. Jesus, Buddha, Allah, whoever you worship, you can have both of them. It's called balance. Like if you pray, right? You ever just like, God, heal me from my ailment. You ain't never think of like, God, be more specific. That's what I learned. Like when I be proclaiming the things that I want to do in life, I have learned from life to be real specific with what I want. Real. Because, you'd be like, oh, I want to get a new car. And it'd be like a new used car. Or, oh, I want to go on a vacation. And then your vacation happens, but it's not really what you wanted. So I've learned to be specific with it. Like, I want to start a podcast and I want to have this, bloom, 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 bloom. And I started a podcast and I have everything that I said I wanted to have with the podcast. So I learned to be real specific with it. Like, oh, I want a house. And then you get a house, but it's not that 2-story or ranch style and you wanted a 2-story with a big backyard, but it's a ranch style with a small backyard, or you don't even have a backyard, you got a side yard. No, you got to be real specific. I said balance, because most people who go to church or religious feel like I give it to Jesus and that's the end all to be all. Well, Jesus has 6 billion, it's probably like 7 billion people now. See, he has 6+ billion people to look after. I'm not saying that he can't look at you. I'm just saying help him out a little bit. You probably like, Jesus don't need no help. Sometimes I feel like everybody could use help. Hi, Helen. Hi. Hi. I missed you. I really did. I missed you. I was looking at my Discord updating. I'm stuttering. I was updating my Discord, and you were there. You were there in my Discord, and I was like, "Don't worry, because this week I'm activating. Do you see all of these right here? I'm activating all of those. I've been active on all of those, but I'm super activating everything this week. Because again, once I recognize, here's me, level self. Once I recognize something, I'm the type of person I can't keep doing. Like, I recognized that I was a procrastinator. Once I recognized that and understood how come I started procrastinating and the elements of that, I can't keep procrastinating. It's like, I can't keep procrastinating. If you know you being cheated on, you just gonna still be in a relationship because you're being cheated on. No, some part of your brain, but this is where I say, since it's not common, because some people just feel like we can change people. Hey, Chrissy P. But I put up a motivation one day this week. I said, what did I say? Oh, I said people not gonna change. They're not gonna change. We want to. We want them to change. We want the people that we are in love with to change. We want them to. Parents want their kids to change. Everybody want everybody to change. But at the end of the day, if they don't love themselves enough to do it for themselves, they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change. I be telling people the sad thing is that it takes something really drastic in order for people to change. Me, I've I've never been one of those people like, people like, oh, I learn from my own mistakes and I learn from watching other people make mistakes. I'm one of those type of people. I don't have to go through something 50 million 11 times in order for my head to be like, okay, we shouldn't do this. Nope. Me, once I see, okay, yeah, I knew growing up I didn't want to be a cheater. I don't want to be a cheater. I don't want to be a player. I don't want to be any of those things. Because what people don't see, they see the cheater and then they see the cheater moved on with the next person, but they don't see the trauma, the drama that goes through the person's head. Because what we don't talk about is when relationships end, we don't talk about like that that period of the relationship ending until the next one. We want to know why we don't talk about it? Because there is no period. Is Monday at 10 o'clock I'm breaking up with you, and Monday at 10:05 I got a whole nother relationship. And in my mind, I be thinking like, when did you have time to process the good and bad? And then I be saying to myself, maybe I'm the weird one because I be needing to process. I be needing time to process. Okay, what worked and what didn't work. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I have a business, right? I have multiple business, but I have a business that was on the verge of like not being successful. And I'm telling y'all this because maybe you have a business that's on the verge of not being successful. And I could not in my mind like figure out like what is going on. I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I didn't do, it wasn't a day, it was like a week. I didn't do anything in regards to that business. And it was like ding. And I went in and I pivoted and I changed everything around with the business. I changed the name, I changed everything. Everything about it, I changed it. And from there on, it started to work. It started to grow. It started to be everything that I envision. Like if you have a startup, you envision one thing, right? And then even in business, you envision one thing. And then when that thing is like, okay, I could add this service, but I was adamant about not adding a service. And I was adamant only because I was uncomfortable. Here we go again. Everything that I was uncomfortable with is the exact same thing that I should be doing. And I'm probably just saying it because maybe you are uncomfortable with something and like if you know, like writing a book or starting a YouTube or doing a podcast or whatever is your thing. Every day you get up in the morning, you know that you're supposed to do that. You go to sleep at night, you know that you're supposed to do it. You say you keep putting it off to tomorrow, next year, the year after that. When I get some money, when I get whatever. For me, it was sitting down and saying, listen, adding this service to your business will help you tremendously. Why do I not want to add this business to my service? You know why I didn't want to do it? Because that will cause me to have to get out of myself and actually do what I know that I could do. No one was requiring me to be the greatest person I am. No one was requiring me to be royalty. Hi Famaka, hi Denzi. No one was requiring me to be royalty. Everyone was like complacent with, oh, she's smart, but that's Chelle, she's smart. And then I started this, you see where I'm saying love of self. I started to love myself to the point where I started to look at all of the things that I accomplished in life that I never celebrated. Never. I never celebrated making history 2 times in 1 year. Never celebrated. Had newspaper articles, television, radio, all of that. Never celebrated it. Never celebrated that I was the only one of my grandmother's grandchildren that had her at her at my graduation because she passed, so she couldn't go to the rest of them. But I never celebrated. Like you probably like, why would you celebrate that? Because if you had a grandma like mine's, like you that's something huge. It's my grandma. Came to my I went to Franklin Public School. This is like the suburbs. Wherever you are, think about the suburbs. Every morning I had to get up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to go to school out there. So in my history books, I was like integrated. I was integrating the schools out there. I integrated the college I went to. I integrated the college that I went to. See, I was born to do great things. My name is Chelle. I was born to do great things. But if you can keep you, let me say this right. You are not where you want to be in life because of you. I know you probably be like, "No, I ain't got no money. No, I don't got this." But I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. This is a nurturing conversation. You are not in the place where you want to be in life because of you. Why do you say that, Chelle? I'm gonna give you my personal experience, and I'm not saying this is exactly why you not doing it, but I can guarantee you that you are the only person that's holding yourself back. I told y'all about the business, right? I was sitting here like, yeah, I'm happy with, doing the things that I was doing. But adding the other service to my business would have, at that point, would have definitely took me over to where I was trying to go. It would have expeditiously put me in the place where I wanted to be, but I couldn't get out of me. I didn't want to do it. And it wasn't teaching, it was something else. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want the headache of it. And I was looking at it as a headache instead of looking at it as a blessing. And so because I didn't want the headache of it, it was just like, it kept rubbing me the wrong way. But then when I sat with it, right? I sat with it and I was just like, why do I hate this so much? Why do I hate it? Why do I not want to add this service? What is keeping me from adding this service? And I was able to go in and sit with it. And it was just like, that is not a reason why you deny yourself that. It's not a reason. And if you ever like sat with yourself and had a conversation with yourself, I know people probably say that's crazy, but listen, I'm gonna talk to myself before I'm gonna talk to myself. I was like, that's not a real reason why you shouldn't add that to your service. And then I created excuse after excuse as to why I shouldn't add this service to my business. And then I had to tell myself that's an excuse. That's an excuse. You used to, when you were younger, you used to say, if somebody asked me to do this, I'm going to be able to do this because I got this, 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 this. I know how to navigate these spaces. That's what I used to tell myself when I was younger, before I got older and shit started happening in my life, that's what I used to tell myself. Hi, Trish. I knew that I knew, let me tell you what I knew about myself. I couldn't see past 14, but up until 14, I could say I was going to be really successful in the music industry. Now, I didn't know how I was going to be successful. I knew I wanted to be a songwriter, and I knew I was going to be really successful in the music industry, right? So, fast forward to now, I got a business. I'm mildly successful in the music industry. Um but I have to add this service to my business. After all these excuses, after just sitting there, it's like, Chelle, you need to just stop it. You need to stop it. You know, you the only reason. It wasn't because I didn't have money. It wasn't because I didn't have the skills. It wasn't for anything other than me getting out of my own way. Me. Love of self, being able to tell yourself the honest truth, whether it hurts. It hurts so fucking bad for me to say, you are the only reason why you are not where you want to be. That hurt it. That wasn't, I don't got to look. That wasn't easy for me to say. You are being so stubborn right now. I was literally talking to myself, telling myself all of these things. And then I was just like, there's no real reason why I wouldn't add it. I was just making up shit. I didn't want to do it because it's not going to happen, because all of those things. And then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Throwing caution to the wind, hopped off the porch, and I'm out here. And ever since, I'm telling y'all, the greatest thing, the thing you probably fighting the most, like maybe you're in a relationship, and you know the relationship is fucked up, and you probably be like, no, but they help me pay the bills, they do good with the kids, and your kids is probably like, we don't even like this motherfucker, but you probably like, but I'm not alone, or I'm not, or you got a business and you like trying to hire your family. You know what's the crazy thing? Because people say don't hire your family, but I think that should be like a case by case basis, because sometimes family members make businesses grow. Because Wingstop for Rick Ross done grew a whole lot. And then he said that switched around because of his mom and his sisters. But hey, I'm gonna tell you this, right? You have to get out of your own way. And how do you do that? You have to love yourself. Love yourself enough to tell yourself the truth. What was my truth? I was a procrastinator, and everything that I did not want to do, everything that I said I did not want to do was the exact same. Let me tell you, talking, speaking, this right here that I'm doing right now, I did not want to do it. I stopped doing YouTube 15. Ooh, it's a long time. I stopped doing YouTube because I just wanted to sing. I wanted to make music. I just wanted to sing. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to be 10 years ago. Um, 10 years ago. Hey, you need to do that. 10 years ago, a friend of mine asked me, I share with her some things, and she said, what if you are supposed to share your story? Like, what if you are supposed to be the one? And I was like, the one to do what? She's like, the one to talk about it. She's like, the one to bring it to light, the one to like shout it from the rooftops. And I'm sitting here like, why the fuck would I do that? It's like tons of people out here that be talking about shit all the time. And 10 years later, I started this nurturing conversation Sunday night dinner and convo. And I hit her up. I went to meet with her a couple of Fridays ago, and I was like, you remember you asked me 10 years ago? And I was like, that has been I didn't want to talk. Wait a minute. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here making a revelation. Every fucking thing that I did not want to do is the exact thing that I am finding happiness in right now. Like our real life be happy. Like I was over with my mom. If y'all didn't know, my mom suffered a stroke on Friday, or not this Friday, but last week Friday. And so I've been spending as much time over there with her and with my siblings. And I was just like, I gotta come over here because I gotta do my live. But best believe I'm gonna be back over there after this live is off. But I was like, I don't want to talk. And then I had a stutter. So, I don't want to talk because then people gonna know I'm stuttering, and then it was all of those excuses. So I'm gonna say tonight, love of self. Stop fucking making excuses. You can start that business. So what? You don't got no fucking money. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. Y'all listening? Let me tell y'all a secret. A lot of these big successful billionaire people that all got all these millionaires, they didn't have money either when they started their business. Why am I whispering? Because it's a secret. They didn't have money either when they started their business. You know what they had? They had an idea. They had an idea and they had it written on a piece of paper, or they had it written on a drawn out on a vision board or something like that, and they was able to convey that idea to people who sold money into them, who helped them get to the point that they are right now. So while you sitting there thinking like I can't start this business because I don't got no money, let me tell you how many people I know that took YouTube. Do y'all know I should do? Hold on, let me write this down. I'm throwing out an idea right now. Hold on. Do y'all know how many people who started doing videos on YouTube, or who started on doing like reels or whatever on Facebook, and that are now like millionaires, or like they have a company outside of here, like Issa Rae and just what Liza, like all these different people that use YouTube as a catalyst to get them to where they want to go? I'm going to use me talking. I'm saying this out loud. I just like my heart just leaped because I said it in my mind before. I'm about to say it out loud. I am going to use nurturing conversations as a catalyst to have 2 TED Talks before 2022 is over with. I put it out there. I put it out there. So now you know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm going to take the steps that are necessary to get to the 2 TED Talks in 2022. If you don't know what a TED Talk is, YouTube it. I don't say Google it, but YouTube it. That's where I went from not wanting to talk. I went from not silence was an option for me. Silence, I wore that as a badge of honor. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Being silent has only got me more hurt. I have to keep paper towel around because you never know. You never know when you cry. You never know. When you're talking about shit, you never know when you cry. Being silent only brought me more pain, is what I'm going to say. So silence is not an option. I know people try to tell you, oh, you shouldn't say that. But look at it like this, right? If you don't say it, your brain is still going to think it. It's still going to rattle in there. It's going to like an echo. It's going to echo. Not. It's not. No, y'all know what I'm talking. I'm not literally meaning it's going, but it's going to be in your mind. It's going to be forever there. Like you get ready. I used to tell people that if someone called me and say, "Hey, I need you to produce a 12 song album," I used to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that with no problem. I'm gonna be able to do that with no problem. And then I had the opportunity and I got a little nervous, and I was just like, why the fuck am I nervous? I've said for years I would be able to do this, but you know what happened? Because it was the opportunity. Like we be saying things, like we be saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna give me a nice house, or I'm gonna give me a nice car. Me, I'd be like, I'm gonna give me a BMW 528. I wanted a black one, but the silver ones look, the silver ones. I'm sorry, it's platinum. The platinum ones are amazing. So when I started to like understand like words and the power of words, I definitely change the way I speak or the things that I say. And that's why I come here and I have these nurturing conversations, because I want I want a parent to be like, how the fuck is this woman with no kids going to tell me that I need to spend more time with my kids? Because I want that to rattle in the back of your head. I want that to rattle. I want it to be like, we are in a global fucking pandemic, and more people have been concerned about adults, but not as concerned about kids. And kids and teenagers and young adults are often unaliving themselves because they are going through so much, because no one has taken the time to see and determine how they are doing. Why? Because they're kids. What kind of stress? What kind of, you ever, as a parent, have you ever said, you're a child? What could you be stressed about? You know that they have stress. I literally said to someone today, I said, when I was in high school, the 90s, when I was in high school, it was tough. Let me tell you, it was tough because I went to a predominantly white high school, and y'all know that it was not, whew, I'm grateful for it, but it was not. But imagine high school now. Imagine as a parent, you had to go to the high school, or you had to go, forget high school, you had to go to school, period. Nowadays, with the internet and all of these other advancements, imagine that. Now, imagine your child going to school and all of that. Before it was like, like our thing was like, oh, the fly is closed. Like we wasn't wearing no champion. Now they be paying 300 champion. We wasn't wearing champion. That was Payless. Now champion. Champion knew exactly what they was doing. Champion, champion. If y'all ever paid attention, y'all ever paid attention? I be looking at these designer clothing that a lot of the celebrities be wearing, right? You ever see the clothes that they wear, and then you watch the fashion weeks, right? You notice how some of the clothes that they be wearing, some of the clothes might be on there, but a lot of the clothes that they be wearing, they don't be showing that in fashion week. And then I discovered that they make whole lines for people to buy because they know that you're going to buy them. And in my mind, I thought, like, wait a minute. Remember those moon boots? I know if you grew up in the 80s, slight 90s, um, you would never be caught dead in a pair of moon boots. But do you know that people are walking around here right now with moon 600, 7, $8,000 moon boots on? We wasn't wearing no moon boots. Remember, we used to have like the light up buckles. Now these people going to pay $600 for some buckles on some Walmart pants, but they might not have Walmart pants on. They probably have $1,000. Like in my mind, I laugh, and I'm laughing because I used to do that. Like I had a closet full of Dooney and Burks and Coach purses. I still to this day have yet to wear a purse, but I would buy it because it was retail therapy for me. Like retail therapy. I really feel like that's the thing. It probably shouldn't be a thing, but it was a thing for me. Like I went from like Pumas was my favorite shoes. Like I had all the colors, the Puma, all of them. Then I went to like Air Force Ones. I said Air Force Ones, but we call them Dookies. Where I live, we call them Dookies. Air Force Ones, and then I had like Sean Kemp Reeboks. I really didn't like Adidas. I still don't like Adidas. And then I was like Converse. And then I was like sitting the other day, and I was just thinking about my life and the things that I did. And I was like, holy shit, I remember I would like wake up and was like, oh, I'm gonna go travel today. And I would buy a plane ticket to somewhere I've never been and just go. Like I literally had no fear in my I literally had no fear in my 20s, like none whatsoever. I would literally wake up and be like, I'm going to go to Vegas. If you haven't been to Vegas, you should go. I'm encourage you to go. Vegas was like my second home. I was there like all of the time in my 20s, all of the time. And then I crossed over in the 30s, and I was like, oh, I think it's time to settle down. Maybe I had a midlife crisis. I don't know. I was like, I think it's time for me to settle down and start buckling down and being an adult. But I was an adult my entire life. Um, I just I just know like it was so many different situations. I literally like right now, if whatever age you are right now, if you can think about when you were 13. Think about when you were 13, like the thoughts. What were you thinking about at 13? I was like, "Oh, I'm skating." Like I was excited to go to school. I was excited to do work. But think about a 13-year-old now. Like skating, bowling, like the things that we were excited about at 13, they're not excited about right now. They got TikTok and I was watching the whole Kanye and Kim, and they were like, "Oh, my daughter shouldn't be on TikTok." In my mind, I was thinking like, ain't the age range for TikTok? So how is she on? Well, I don't know. I don't got no kids, but I listen. If you are a parent and your child is on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, any one of those things, you should definitely be looking at that phone. You should most definitely. Y'all be seeing these little kids be texting these people, or they be playing video games, Fortnite, all of that, and people be texting or talking to them. If your child got a headset, because we was growing up, we had. Now I'm reminiscing on my past. When I was growing up, I had a Nintendo 64. Do y'all remember y'all probably don't remember it, but it was Nintendo had the thing where you could put your face. I said I was going to remember it. You could put your face in, and it was like a laser 3D virtual boy, I think it was. I don't even know. I think it was Virtual Boy. But we had Nintendo, Virtual Boy, Atari, ColecoVision. I'm not saying that we had all of these at different times. I'm saying in my household, my mom, like we had a whole game room with all these things, right? So how be it that when I grow up and my nieces and nephews have Xboxes and PlayStation 4s and Xbox 1, 6, 5, 10, 20, Nintendo Switches, how I'm gonna be like, that's all you do all day is play that? I was doing the same thing. I would be up to the wee hours in the morning. Have you ever played Donkey Kong or Mario Kart? Oh, I just said the other day, I have a Wii. I said I'm gonna plug it up and I'm gonna live stream. So y'all gonna see it this week. I'm a live stream playing Michael Jackson's This Is It. Oh, I used to love The Girl Is Mine. Dun, 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 dun. I used to love playing that. And you didn't even know that you were getting a workout, but you was just thinking like I'm dancing like Michael Jackson. It was those for me. It was the fond memory of those things. Remember at the beginning, I told you I couldn't remember anything positive in my life, but I was focused on the negative. Since I have been on this journey of healing and self discovery, I've been able to unlock many of the positive things that happened in my life. I didn't remember that my grandmother I was the only one to have my grandmother go to my middle school graduation. I didn't remember that, but I saw a photo. I saw a photo. Um, it's actually uploaded on my Facebook. I saw a photo and I actually remembered that moment. I remembered how proud I was. I remembered the feeling. It was like I heard her voice. My grandmother has been dead since 1995, so that's like 20 plus years. It was like that moment. I don't even know, like I felt like life was just like, you need to see this right now because you are in the spot. You ever believe that you could be something, you ever believe that you could do something, and then you get in that spot and it's like all you have to do is cross over the threshold. All you have to do is cross over. You knew your entire life you were going to get there. And all you have to do is cross over. And for a moment, a brief moment, I was presented with an opportunity. And I sat with that opportunity for a couple of days. And it wasn't because I didn't believe that I could do it. That's not what it was. It wasn't because I didn't have the resources to do it. I sat with it because I just could not believe that all of the shit that I went through in my life, all of the times I like damn near died, all of the heartbreak I just experienced last year, like everything I had went through my entire life, and here I am on the eve of one of the greatest things ever happening to me, and I am just standing here. You probably like, why were you just standing there? I don't even know why I was just standing there. I was just standing there. And then I got flooded with the emotions of, this is why you're going to walk over there and be successful. It was in my mind, it was just like, but what if I don't be successful? I'm going to be successful. Even if I fail, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take what I learned from that and I'm going to build it into something greater. I didn't get to I didn't get to 41 by being perfect. Perfect is an illusion. If you're striving for that, it's an illusion. It doesn't exist. I didn't get to 41 by doing everything by the book. Hell, I'm a rebel with a lot of causes. I'm not a rebel without I got a lot of causes. I am definitely a rebel. I break rules all the time. I know they say you shouldn't do it, but I break rules all the time because sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Now, if you're a young person, take that with caution because Depending on who your mother or your father is, it might bring some drama in your house. But rules are meant to be broken. That's what I say. Because some rules were created in 1806 and nobody just broke the rules because everyone always just falls in line. Me, I need to ask a question. I need to ask a question like, why is that a rule? Like, have anyone ever read the amend like what is it called? The right to bear arms was the amendment, the First Amendments or whatever. Have you ever really read those? I'm gonna tell you what you learn when you go to a predominantly white school. You go to a predominantly white school, you gonna learn rules about your race. You learn rules. I said to someone, I said, I used to go to school and like my friends would have they had a tutor for like piano. They had a tutor for karate or a mentor for karate. They had a mentor for everything. A tutor or a mentor or somebody above them to guide them to wherever they're going for everything. And I thought to myself, like, we don't have that. We just have like our pastor or our auntie or uncles. Like, we don't, there's like mentor programs for everything for them. And I was like, oh, I don't have a mentor program. Like when I found out about Big Brothers Big Sisters, I was like, where the hell was this at? Like the Boys and Girls Club. Like what? Why don't you offer this? So I was just telling somebody, I was like, I literally got the best of both worlds. And I was like, what does that mean? I was like, I grew up in the hood. And when I say the hood, I mean the hood. You know the hood. I'm talking about the hood. And I went to predominantly white schools. So at first, I was really, really, really sad. I was really sad. I was more so angry because in my mind, I envisioned going to black schools. I did. I did. I was going to go to Howard University and study law. That was my thing. That was where I was going to go. But somehow I ended up applying for a school. That's the crazy thing, right? I ended up applying for a school that I never even remember applying for. I got an acceptance letter and a huge award letter. So where did you think I went? Right up there. And I integrated the school. So imagine reading in the history books about the Little Rock Nine and Ruby Bridges and all of the people that suffered to like integrate schools. Imagine reading about them and then you go to college in a predominantly white town and you are like one of like 20 kids that are there first colored or not colored like that, but first kids that are non-white at the school. Imagine that. And I'm not talking about like in the 2000s, I'm talking like 1999. Imagine that. So imagine the tough time we had. Like so when you're looking in your history books and you see the person with the hoods walking through or you see the old video and it's black and white, imagine being 19 years old and living in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin and you see those people walking around. Like you looking at me on this screen, I'm looking at them with my two eyes, they standing right there walking past me. Yes, imagine that. In my mind, it was like, damn, my grandmother, my mother, me, grandmother, mother, me. My mother was born in the 60s. My grandmother was born when she was born. I didn't even try to, she was born when she was born. And me. I literally, with my own two eyes, have seen them walk right in front of me. Can you imagine that? When I went to school, I wrote a paper. I wrote a paper because it was a cultural shock for me. I didn't know that was what it was at the time, but after I graduated or whatever, my experiences there was a cultural shock because I grew up in the hood and I did go to predominantly white schools, like from middle school, elementary, middle, and high school. I went to predominantly white schools, but in a predominantly white environment was totally different for me. So of course, things were different. When I went to school, I studied classical music. I have experience with arias, and I envisioned being an opera singer. One day it'll happen. So I studied music. I am a singer. I was gonna say I was a singer. I am a singer. So they would give me the easiest arias to sing, right? And I thought I was really doing something because I was singing in Italian and German and Latin and French, and I was singing all of them. And then I had went to audition for something, and they was like, what school do you come from? And I was told them my school I was coming from. They were like, you know that they are giving you the basic, they're not really challenging you with your voice. They're not really challenging you. They're giving you the basics of it just to like pass you through. If you know me, you know what happened after that. I went back to that school. I was like, hey, wait a minute. So you giving me, so I'm asking the classmates, like, okay, what is y'all singing? What y'all doing? And I'm looking at the stuff they singing and the stuff they doing. I was like, well, I don't have that. And you know what they told me? We didn't know if you were capable of doing that. Try me. So when I say like, I knew my entire life proved to me that I am great. Your entire life, if you take a moment, I'm going to say take the rest of the night, take this week, take as much time as you need to look at your entire life. I'm going to tell you what you're going to see. You're going to see an overcomer. You're going to see someone who has the strength. You're going to see someone who has persevered over every fucking thing that life threw at you. You overcame that. You are right now sitting where I am. You probably facing a huge decision, right? You're probably facing a huge decision right now, and you contemplating on if I should do it or should I do it, should I not do it? You contemplating, but I'm gonna guarantee you already know what you should do. But it feels good. It feels good to be like, I should, maybe I shouldn't. This is why I shouldn't. This is why I should. It feels good to do that. It's like you actually have a choice, but you already know the choice that you need to make. It feels good. It felt good to be like, when I made history, um, having a senior recital, and I was like, I'm doing gospel music. Actually, I took it a step further. I'm not just doing gospel music. I'm doing any kind of black music I could find. I'm doing it. I was in there rapping. I was doing everything. Anything I could find, I'm doing it. Because you know why? I'm the first to do this, and I'm going to set the bar. I'm going to set the bar high. The next person that come in and study music after me, they're going to see what I did, and they're going to take it further. And I did meet some opposition. That's how I knew. That's how I knew I was a fighter, right? When I tell y'all, I realized so much stuff about myself, but all of this have come back to me during this journey of healing and self-discovery. I didn't like it was in the back of my mind. It was in the back of my mind. And then as I journey and like get rid of the negativity and move it out, the positives just like come up, and it's like, you remember that one time I said you couldn't do um black music, as they called it. It wasn't uh, black music isn't real music. It's just making noise, is what they said. But guess who made history as doing, excuse me, a combination of black music and arias at our senior recital? Hi, that was me. Yep, that was me. And guess who at the end of that, my senior recital, where the newspapers and all of those people came, and it was just like, that was the most amazing experience ever. You're right. Because if you ever heard of aria or classical people that stand there and sing like this, I could do that. And then when you have that experience of going, people say, you ever go to a white church and then you go to a black church, or you ever go to a black funeral, or you ever go to a white, memorial service or whatever? Totally separate things. I ain't mean to make it black and white, but I'm just saying, y'all paint the picture. Y'all see where I'm going. So I've been a fighter. Every time I come and go live and speak and talk, I feel more of like the walls that I built up around my heart to like protect it. I feel it falling down. And you're like, oh no, you should definitely be protecting yourself. Listen, here we go again. Everything I tried to protect myself from my entire life has always hurt me anyways. So at the end of the day, I'm just out here. I'm alive, I'm well, I'm happy. All of my bills is paid. I'm good. If I have to cry, listen, I'm 41 years old. I'm about to be 42 in June. I've cried before. I've cried before. I've been happy. I've been sad. I've been loved. I've been in love. I've built. I've had it torn down and I rebuilt. I've had friends. I lost friends. I've grown. I've the gambit. All of that. I've done all of that. And the greatest experience that I have is that I was able to learn from each one of those things. And I love myself on a whole nother level. Love myself on a whole nother level. So I want to encourage you right now. If you are on a journey, it don't necessarily have to be a journey in healing and self-discovery. It could just be a journey in life. A journey from what was to what is and what will be. That. Here's some tips. Here's some tips to love of self. Here's some tips to love yourself. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. That's number one. Be honest with yourself. If you know you are unhappy, if it's a job, if it's a book you writing or makeup or a dance or you do choreography or whatever it is, be honest with yourself. Number two, you deserve better. Yeah, you probably grew up in a situation that wasn't ideal for you. Maybe you grew up in a one parent household. Maybe you grew up in a two parent household. Let me tell you something that I didn't think about, right? I grew up in a one parent household. So in my mind, it was just like, oh, people with two parent households are, they dope. Like y'all got two parents. So until I talked to someone who had a two parent household and it was just their situation was just as bad or worse than mine was. And I was just like, you never know what people are going through. So I'm going to say you deserve better. And number three, that thing that you cannot go a day without thinking about or feeling, or the very thing that you saying you don't want to do, you should do that. If all of your life you have been walking by the book and you have been doing everything according to the law or not that law, don't do nothing unlawful. But if you've been following what everyone has been telling you to do, I'm going to encourage you in 2022, do the opposite. Do the opposite. Throw caution to the wind, hop off the porch, jump without a parachute. That thing that you're supposed to do, it will catch you. I'm not telling you to literally go out there and jump. I'm not telling you don't do that. Don't do that. But what I'm saying to you is that thing that you have been holding on to, that dream, writing a book. I be saying this all the time because I'm writing a book. But writing a book, starting a podcast, doing YouTube, doing Twitch. Let me tell you this. If you are a musician and you're watching this, whatever platform you are watching on, if someone suggests to you to do Twitch, take the time to look beyond the gaming and find the music community there. I've suggested multiple times to music artists to do Twitch, and they're like, no, I'm not a gamer. I don't do this. It's like I tell people to do YouTube. No, I don't do mukbangs and I don't do those pranks and stuff. You don't have to do that. If you bake cookies, put the camera up and bake cookies. I tell artists, go on Twitch, set you up a Twitch while you writing your songs or making the music or whatever you're doing. People, we want to be connected to you. We want to be connected. You probably have subscribers on YouTube. I said to someone, I was like, you trying to get all these big numbers of subscribers, but you don't even realize one video, you have 65 viewers on one video, and you just put that video out 30 minutes ago. You have people literally watching you. You have people literally like it's people you've come to hear me talk about basically me and the things that I go through, and you converse with me in these hi, thank you for joining me. You converse with me in these conversations, and then you leave with whatever you leave with. Like I hope that you feel inspired to like accomplish that thing that you always wanted to do, but you didn't have the courage to do it. I hope you find courage from tonight's talk about love with self. I hope that you find that. I hope that this week, as you go, you be like, you know what? Maybe I don't love myself. Maybe I'm not applying for that higher position because I don't believe that I can do that. when you know the whole time that you could do that. You watch this position come open and you said it to yourself, next time they have a management position, I'm going to apply for it. And then something happened in your life and it's like, oh, no, it's not a good time. I got this. It's so much stuff going on. That's what we got to stop doing. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. I felt my lips getting dry. Sorry. Won't be screenshotting me talking about her lips is dry. Anyways, stop making excuses. That very thing that you want to do, you should do it. So what, you dropped out of high school or you dropped out of college, or so what, you only got a sixth grade education. So what? You know how many millionaires, billionaires, people successful that don't have that? But they got money, so people don't care. That's not a good thing. But I'm saying, like, they got money, so people don't care. Someone was like, how are you going to have a whole business about education, music artists, and there's education everywhere? Don't you know about Google? I was like, yes, but they don't know about me. I'm the greatest music administrator ever, ever. Before I used to say on this side of heaven, but I'm going to say ever in existence. You can't say that. Hold on, let me say it again. I am the greatest music administrator ever. Period. Just like you're the greatest YouTuber, you're the greatest Twitch streamer, you're the greatest Facebook reel maker, you're the greatest whatever you are. You only as powerful as you believe that you are. Something I discovered on the journey of healing and self-discovery. And I said it when I came back to YouTube. I was going to be that person that I wish somebody would have been for me. I wish somebody would have said, hey, love yourself. And I don't just mean like love yourself to buy yourself flowers or take yourself to eat. I mean, love yourself. Have those tough conversations with yourself. Why are you in that relationship? You know you don't really love them. You just like their company at nighttime. Oh, oh. You just like to have somebody to go to dinner with. Like, you really don't like being in a relationship with them. They irritate you. Y'all don't have the same morals and beliefs. So people still have morals and beliefs. I remember they would teach us that back in the days, but y'all don't believe the same things. Y'all look good when y'all go out in public, but when you go in the house and lock the door, it'd be a whole nother story. Why are you with them? What makes you stay in a relationship? I literally had to do this last year. I literally did. That's why I said if she would not have walked away, I would probably still be right there in the relationship. And that's saying a lot for me. Like, that's admitting a lot for me. But at the same time, I am admitting I'm able to accept, acknowledge, and I'm able to change. What makes you want to stay with somebody who tells you they don't want to be with you? What makes you stay at a job that don't value you? What makes you stay in a relationship that doesn't value you? What makes you do that? And it's definitely not because you can't get better or you can't do better. It's something within you that makes you stay there. I was watching a documentary and a lady broke down trauma bonding. She was like, yeah, people think trauma bonding. Hi, MLW fishing man. She was like, people think trauma bonding is, oh, you and a person together because y'all experienced a traumatic experience together. She's like, that's one way to look at it. But the way she broke it down, I was just like, oh, that is something that I think about, but I don't think most people think about it. I don't think most people think about why they are in situations that they are in. And most people think it's just because of the trauma that they experienced. But like, when you get married, you don't think divorce. Like, divorce can happen. It could. Anything could happen. But when it actually happens, there's this thing that's just like, damn, I really thought this is going to work. I really gave my all to this working. And there's like a sense of like, I fucking failed. How the fuck do I work so hard at something and fail? When in actuality, it shouldn't be looked at as a failure. It should just be looked at as, growth. I've grown to the point where I understand. Like I said the other day, um, I'm single. I'm still not ready to date yet. I'm single. Like I'm getting to the point where I could be like, okay, cool, I'll go have drinks or I'll go have drinks. I don't drink, but coffee, tea, whatever. I'm getting to that point. And it was just more so of me finding me. It was more so of me recognizing, okay, it wasn't a failure. Like people were like, oh, you got a divorce as a failure. No, it wasn't that. It was just like two people grew apart and that's what it was. But at that time, you couldn't tell me that I knew I failed. I knew it was just like, how do you work so hard at something and still fail? And I started to not be so harsh on myself. It was just like, I did the best that I could. I did everything I was supposed to do. It didn't work. Okay. And after you have a really bad breakup, the first thing you are inclined to say is, I'm never fucking doing that again. Never. I didn't say that. I didn't I didn't say that. Why would I deny somebody the opportunity to be in love with me? No, I'm not gonna say that. But what I did say was I need to take the time to understand why I stayed so long. I need to take the time to understand why, if they had not walked away, I wouldn't have never walked away from them. What is that about? That's what I needed to understand, figure out. And in doing so, I reconciled my relationship with my parents. I began setting boundaries. I began to accomplish everything that I set out to do since birth. And I'm much, much more happier about it. I found the courage to be unapologetically me. Sorry, I had to write that down because that's definitely going to be a song title. Even though I can't spell apologetically. No, I can't even talk. Unapologetically me. That's crazy. That is crazy. No, but I pivoted my business, starting a podcast. Crazy thing is, like, I was going to take this. I probably still do. Like, this is a video podcast. I was going to take it and make it an audio podcast. I probably still do. I'm going to say I probably still do. I am. Um, but I had no intentions of starting this as a podcast. I had no intentions of it being a podcast. I just want to come and talk to people about shit that I know people ain't gonna talk about. We're not gonna talk about loving yourself. We're not gonna ask ourselves, like, am I really happy here? Wait, what is happiness? You ever hear somebody say that person don't make me happy? I don't know if you ever heard this or not, but happiness doesn't come from another person. Happiness comes from you. Only you can make you happy. I know that probably was like, only you can make you happy. Have you ever thought about that? Like when you wake up in the morning, nobody's there to make you happy. Nobody's there to be like, hey, you open up your eyes to a beautiful day. Well, if you're with somebody that's mindful like that, maybe they are. But no one is like, good job, honey. You opened up your eyes today. Let's go. You're gonna have a great day. No, that's something you have to tell yourself every day. Every day. That's why I do positive affirmations. So that when you guys come to my channel, like in the morning, I'm doing Monday motivation. I want you to know, like, there are positive people out here. There are positive people that are doing positive things. Now, hold on. Let me make sure I say this because some people be taking at me saying I'm positive, be like, you ain't better. You think you better, blah, blah, blah. That's something that you have on the inside of you, honey. Me saying that I'm positive lets you know if you watch my channel for any length of time, you've heard who I am and where I come from and the things that happened to me in my life. You heard that. I've never, not one time, claimed to be perfect. Again, perfect is an illusion. I am somebody who has a lot of experiences, and I'm gonna tell you my experiences so you don't have to experience that for yourself. You don't have to fall down. You could just keep on walking. It's a hole up there. 2 steps forward is a hole up there. You might want to go left or right. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm not gonna see you walking and know that 2 steps in front of you is a hole. No, that's not me. I'm gonna tell you. Just like I got a video coming this week. If you're gonna make a YouTube, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you 5 things you should know when you make a YouTube. I'm gonna tell you that. If you streaming on Twitch, if you're on Facebook, 5 things to know to navigate these digital spaces. I'm definitely gonna tell you that. I wish somebody would have told me. Nobody did, but I'm gonna tell you. And you're gonna be better. You're gonna be better than me. Yeah, I'm a streamer. Yeah, I'm streaming on multiple platforms at one time right now. But if you want to do it, I'm gonna show you how to be better. Why? Because I made the mistake so that you could be better. When I started to think about our ancestors that was like fighting for civil rights and fighting for all of those things, right? They did all of that so that we can be better. We can be in the positions that we are in. What if they had not have done that? If they hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to go to predominantly white schools. I would probably I would have loved to go into a black school anyways. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I really want to. I was thinking about going to graduate school at Howard University to continue to study law, and then some really brilliant lawyers that I met was like, "Why would you do that? And you already do what you would be going to law school to do." And I was just like, "Good question." I don't know. I think I just love school. I always said when I was younger, I was going to go be a doctor. Like, I don't have to go to, I wanted to, let me tell you, I wanted to go to med school because I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then I got sick when I was 19 and I was like, or 18, and I was like, ugh, I couldn't, I wanted to be a pediatrician, but I said I could not look a mother or look a family in their face and say, your child has leukemia or something where I could not, I would be crying. I'd already envisioned myself. I'd be like, listen, I'm so sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And then to see when I was sitting there and like the look on my mom's face when they told her that I will never walk and talk again, that solidified it for me. I could never do that. Never. How never. And then like parents who abuse that kid, I could never be a pediatrician because I'll be y'all could tell I used to have anger problems when I couldn't be no pediatrician and a baby coming there and it's a no for me. It's a no. I just be thinking in my mind like that's why I be encouraging people to go to therapy. Go to therapy, talk to someone. I know it's not talked about in our community and what is our community, people of color community. We don't talk about therapy a lot because we don't want people to know that we have something mentally going on. People should know that you have something mentally going on. You should definitely go to therapy. I'm gonna preach therapy. I'm not even preaching, but I'm gonna talk about therapy every time I come on live. Every time I do a video, I'm gonna definitely speak therapy so that it just deposits in the back of your head, and then it's like rattling around there. You have an experience. You're just like, dang, I should go to therapy. I should go to therapy. And the more you say it, you like manifest that you go to get therapy, and then you're gonna be in therapy, and then you're gonna be like, damn, I should have did this. I think everybody who go to therapy be like, man, I should have did this a long time ago. But I think me personally, I feel like because our lives was already planned before we got here, everything we do, we just supposed to be doing at that time. Where people be like, oh, I met the right person at the wrong time. No, I think it was the time that you were supposed to meet them. I think there was something you're supposed to learn so that in the event if the person come back around, you'll know. You ever been in a situation where it was just like, I worked at this job and the job was good. I learned a lot, but they didn't want to pay me what I'm worth. And you went somewhere else and they tried to woo you back. Hmm, gotta love yourself. Don't accept less. Don't accept less. I literally transferred that. Like at first I was just thinking like, okay, self. I was like, I gotta do self. I'm loving myself. I'm doing good. And then I started, somebody was like, how much you charge for what you do? And it was in that moment that my mind was like, we not accepting anything less than. And then I told them what I was, and they was like, and everybody I told, I am not getting out of bed for anything less than. I'm not. Nope. How can you request that? The same way I did. I'm not getting out of bed for anything less than that number that everyone knows that I've quoted to people before. Not doing that. I value my own time. So I'm gonna encourage you. If somebody is asking you, like, if you are a baker, like I be seeing so many people do like these dipped strawberries or Rice Krispie treats, or just like you baking little cupcakes and cookies, or even if you one of these YouTube or Facebook like cookers or whatever, don't devalue yourself. You got to go to the store and do the shopping. You got to cut up all the fruits, vegetables, or whatever you put in. You got to melt the chocolate, whatever it is. You got to value your own time. That's love of self. You got to love what you do. Put a price on it. People was like, well, again, why would I pay you to do it when I could just go to Google? Because you not gonna take the time to do what I do. You're not. And I could give you a whole list of artists who I've said the same thing, and they was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. And they turn around and be like, hey, Chelle, do you still offer that service? I do. Unfortunately, yesterday's prices are not today's prices. So I said all that to say, value yourself. If you are in the kitchen and you whipping that cake and you like, you know what? I want to be paid this much for this cake. Tell them that's how much you want to be paid for that cake. I know your brain will be like, but I'm not a professional baker. I didn't go to confection. I didn't go to what do they call them? I don't have a degree, or I don't have a certificate in making desserts. I don't have we do that to ourselves all the time. I don't have a culinary degree. I don't have this. You know how many people just start a food truck? Now, you should be clean. Like let's start right there. You should be clean. Your environment in which you're cooking should be clean. It should be no cats hopping. It shouldn't be no cats hopping up on nothing. Ooh, no. You should be clean. You should definitely do that. But you should definitely put a price on it. Think about it. If you have to like melt the chocolate, dip them, then it's gotta cool it. Or if you making tumblers, or if you making custom clothes, like you gotta charge. What you gonna do? Charge. I know we in a global fucking pandemic, but hey, everybody gotta eat. Everybody. I have a good time every time I be talking. It's more like a form of therapy. That's hilarious. It's a form of therapy. And it's more so because I said, I wish somebody would have told me. I wish somebody would have told me, like, hey, it's okay for you to believe in yourself. Like, I said something to someone earlier this week, and it was like, you should be humble. And I said, who should be humble? Have you ever looked up the word humble? Have you ever define the word humble? If you haven't defined the word humble, you should look that up, right? Why is it always when it comes to, never mind, it's going to start a whole nother topic, but I'm done being humble. I'm done being nonchalant. I'm done being all of that. I'm going to talk about my accomplishments. I'm going to talk about anything that I fucking feel like I should talk about because people don't talk about it. I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about parents, even though I ain't got no fucking kids. I'm still gonna talk about parents. I'm gonna talk about grandparents. I said to somebody today, I was like, think about it, right? If parents are working all the time, who's at home with the kids? Or where are the kids? Are they in daycares, or are they other people's house? Like, do you vet, like when you take your kids, if you're a parent, when you take your kids to somebody's house, do you vet the house where your kids is going over? I was watching y'all, do y'all be on TikTok at late nights? Tonight at 11, I'm gonna be on TikTok. Making I got a 10-minute beat challenge, but I was on TikTok, and the young lady was telling her story, and she was saying how she used to go over her high school friend's house, right? And she said she was going over high school friends. Now, this is a alleged story. She told it on TikTok. I don't know it to be true, but it was like, holy shit. So She told the story. She said her mom would never let her go anywhere, but her mom let her and her siblings go over her friend's house. And so she was like, her friend's mom owned a daycare. And so they would go over and, like she's like, her friend had a crib in the room, but she didn't think anything thing about it because her mom had a daycare. So, it's baby stuff all over the place. So then she said one day her mom was watching the TV and she said she saw her friend's parents on the TV. Come to find out, the father, who was a stepfather, was, touching the kids, and the crib that was in her friend's room was actually her baby's crib. And she said her mom had a whole discussion with her, and I was just sitting there. I had to play it back because I was like, wait a minute. So you was going over your friend's house who had a baby, and come to find out the baby was actually the step. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Did y'all just hear what I said? That's a lot. But that's on TikTok. So it's allegedly. But think about the reality of that, right? How many people, like if you are older than me, I'm 41. But if you are older than me, think about how many of your friends were there and then they went on a trip down south, or they went on vacation, or they went somewhere else. My mother or people older than me used to tell me like that people would send people down south if like they were younger and they got pregnant. People would send them down south, and in my mind, I was just like, why would they send them down south? And it made so much sense. And then when they came back, they would say the baby is like their niece or nephews, or that's my little brother, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that's been passed down, or just like so many secrets. So y'all know I'm gonna be talking about secrets, right? Not today, but I'm gonna have a whole discussion about secrets, because there's so many secrets that people don't talk about. Woo! Families don't be talking about them secrets. But we gonna talk about it. Not today, but we gonna talk about it. We could talk about it today, but I have to go and be with my mom. But tonight's topic is love of self. Self-love, self. Loving yourself, respecting yourself, trusting yourself, believing in yourself. Self. Because at the end of the day, if no one ever believes that you have the ability to accomplish your dreams, you should. Don't put it off on, well, my mama don't believe in me. She never came to none of my games, or my daddy, or my auntie, my grandma. Because if you do that, you will never, let me say this. If you put it off on someone else, you will never accomplish that thing. Never. If you're waiting for your mama to believe in you, if you're waiting for your daddy, your granddaddy, your son, your daughter, your kids, cousin, auntie, if you're waiting for anybody outside of yourself to believe in you, you will never get to where you're going. And how can you say never? Because people will always let you down. Always. That's why you got to believe in yourself. It's not like they just wake up to let you down, but something to happen in life, like life happens. Life happens. Maybe they're supposed to come to your basketball game and something happened at home with one of your siblings and they can't make it. You never know. That's why you got to believe in yourself. If no one ever shows up for you, if you are a music artist, if you are a makeup artist, if no one ever shows up for you. I was telling somebody, I was like, they was like, oh, I want him to be a celebrity makeup artist. And I was like, what does that mean? Well, I want to do makeup for celebrities. I was like, but do you know there's so many other things that you could do makeup for, or other people? Like there's movie makeup, there's television makeup, there's people that survive breast cancer makeup, there's funeral makeup, there's all kinds of different makeup. But I realize that we live in a dispensation where everyone wants to go viral or be celebrity. I never wanted to be a celebrity. I'm a celebrity without even being a celebrity. I never wanted, that wasn't, even when I said I'm the greatest music administrator alive, it wasn't because I wanted to be a celebrity. It was because I just love helping people. I love helping people all day, every day. People hit me up on YouTube like, how do I get a thing over my video like you guys, to overlay? Let me know what you want and I got you. Don't even trip. I like helping people. I see it as paying it forward. That's what I see it as. And I'm here to spread nothing but light, love, and positivity. That's all I'm gonna keep saying. Light, love, and positivity. Light. Hey, you don't know how to do something, you want to figure out how to navigate these social media or live streaming streets, hit me up. I got you. All of my information is down below. Or you can follow me at any one of these things right here and send me a message. I got you. Some of the things may come with a price and some might not. It all depends on, what you ask. But I would not ask. If you want to know something, ask. I remember I wouldn't even talk for a whole hour. It is now 2 hours. 2 hours I've been talking, and it's pretty dope. I'm really I'm really excited. I'm sorry, y'all. I just been basking in the ambiance that is me. Um Getting out of my comfort zone and just doing different shit that's just been it's been great for me. It has truly been great. Living my dreams, I'm telling you. Living my dreams. Notice, if you didn't notice, my dream was never to be rich, even though I am wealthy in a lot of things. It was never to have a lot of money because money can't buy happiness. And I know people be like, only broke people be saying that, but the reality of it is have y'all seen how many rich people got money and they still not happy? The reality of it is if you don't have this together, because you can get $1 million today. You probably got an idea right now in your head that you'll put out there and you can get $1 million. But if this right here ain't together, and I mean all of this, heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, if all of that ain't together, oh, you're gonna crash and burn. I said when I was like younger, I was like, how is everybody around me getting signed to major labels? And I'm singing with these people. I'm singing background. I'm writing for them and I'm doing all this stuff. How come I can't get signed? And I thought, like, if I would have got signed back in the days, I would have had a fucked up contract. I would have, I would have had a fucked up contract. I would have probably been broke by now. Cause people would hit me and say, oh, Chelle, I would have been broke. I'm just saying that. I would have been broke because I would have been given to every person who had a sob story or every person who just, I would have been broke. But at this present time, as I sit here as a 41-year-old, I understand why it didn't happen then. And as a 41-year-old, I understand why I was frozen when it was time for me to cross over into my dream. Number one, I didn't believe that it was going to actually happen. I believed, like I knew, like I could do it, but it was just like after so many years, you keep believing, and it's just like, oh well, it could have one day, and then that one day comes, and it's like, so what you gonna do? Are you gonna cross over? Like you excited, but you was like, then here come them excuses. Man, I can't cross over there because what if I fail? Or what ifs? That's what I'm gonna call it, the what ifs. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get your ass over that line. And I crossed that line and I've been smiling ever since. Ever since crossing the line. It's the greatest experience. It's the greatest experience. I'm so grateful for everything that has ever happened to me in my life. People be like, if you could go back and change anything, no, it's okay. I don't want to go back. I don't. When I was younger, I'd be like, oh, if I could go back and have the skills of Allen Iverson or Jordan or Don Staley, those are like my people that play basketball, or Teresa Weatherspoon and Kim Perot. But anyways, if I had those skills, I would have played basketball every year, every middle school, high school, college. I did do that. But I mean, I would have been more into it. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful every heartache, I'm grateful for every positive, every negative. I'm grateful for everything because it got me to where I am today, where I can sit in front of you and talk to you for 2 hours about love of self love, and share with you just my personal experiences and what I believe. And then you talk back to me. And for me, that is dope. Like this is what like live streaming is about, like having full conversations. That's what I that's what I believe. That it's that's what I believe. I'm gonna say this, like I definitely cried a lot last year. Like I definitely cried a lot. And like now when I just think back to like I started watching last year, my videos from last year, I went back and started watching them. And like I could see the growth from where I was until now. um yeah, I was definitely hurting. I was hurting. And somebody was like, "You shouldn't have did that publicly. You should have hid that." And I was like, I could see how people could say that, but at the same time, we don't see that happening. We don't see it. Like it's all like it happens. We know you've been broken up, you cry, you go through all the changes, you it'd be messy, it'd be all of those things. But for me, it was like, I want you to know, like, this is the toughest fucking time of my life, but look what I'm accomplishing during that. Like this shit should have it probably would have broke a normal person. I'm not saying that I'm not normal, but I'm not normal. It probably would have broke a normal person, but for me it's like I've overcome far worse shit than this. I've had my heart broken before. I'm 41. Again, I'm 41. I had my heart broken before. It's just different. It was a different kind of heartbreak, but I'm grateful for it. Because now I am like the phoenix rising from the ashes, and I am confident in who I am and what I want and what I don't want. And I am vocal about it, real vocal. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. I'm vocal. Anyways, because silence is not an option. And I love myself. I love myself more than I love anyone else. And the love that I have for myself allows me to love everyone else as though they are myself. The greatest commandment of them all. That's all I got, y'all. I'm real emotional. I'm probably gonna cry after this is off because I be surprising myself sometime, and it's not like I just be surprising myself because I was like, man, I know that I could do this. Like I was like, I know that I can. I came here and made music, and I was like, I want to do something different. And so then I went over to TikTok and I started doing 10-minute beat challenges, and I've made hip hop, rap, pop, gospel, country. Last night I did blues. I failed miserably at jazz, but don't worry because I'm gonna do that again. Um, House, EDM, reggaeton, reggae. I done did all different kinds of music, and I'm over here like I'm grateful. Just grateful. But had I not like hopped off the porch or just thrown caution to the wind, I would probably still just be sitting. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Wish I. Why didn't I? But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. I'm truly the greatest thing I'm grateful for is having the opportunity to reconcile with my parents. That's the greatest thing I'm grateful for. And it wasn't because I anything other than I truly love my parents, and having the understanding of they are human too, it definitely changes things. It definitely changed things. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my mom is still here and I can go over and hang out with her and hear her tell me about sewing my coat up. I just thought about that. She bought me one of those travel sew kits, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sew it up. I'm gonna sew it up. And then she said, you should sew your coat up. And I was just like, I lost the thing, and so I said I was going. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my coat over there and see if she'll sew it up. Um, but yeah, just being able to talk to her, like it's so different. I said last night, like I don't know, like I wish, like, we know we can't, but I wish like I could take of some of what she's enduring right now and just hold it and like carry it. Like the people that was like, God, can I carry the cross for you, Jesus? Like, I wish I could do that for her, but I know I can't. And all I have to do is just sit and watch. And for me, it's the feelings of helplessness that gets me. It's that. This is that. But I'm working through that. I'm working through that. And I'm having a blast, like spending time with her. Hi, Tamika. Thank you so much, Helen. I definitely missed you. I was like, I'm definitely gonna send you a message because I definitely missed you. And I was like, wait, she ain't came by in a minute. I haven't really been here either, but this week you're gonna see a lot of my face. You shall see a lot of my face. Again, that's all I got, y'all. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. Use them. People probably don't want you to use them because you know what? Let me say this before I go. Right, hold on. I gotta put this on before I say this. This is definitely gonna be in one of my upcoming nurturing conversations. But sometimes people don't be wanting people to talk because when they talk, that gets their people in trouble. And sometimes people like, oh well, people change. I get it. But just because you change from the person that you were before, and that's how I know you, that doesn't negate the fact of what you did to me. That doesn't. So some people may be out here being malicious and saying the shit that they saying, but the reality of it is if I am someone that experienced trauma or pain at the expense of you and I decided I wanted to talk about it, you can't just tell me to shut up. You can't, of course people gonna say shut up and you lying because that person would never do that. But at the end of the day, that person know exactly what the fuck they did to you. They do. They might act like they got amnesia. They might act like they didn't know that was so long ago. You shouldn't talk about it. You should have just left it alone. That's so no, you can't tell people when it's time for them to talk and when it's not time for them to talk. You can't tell people when it's time for them to heal and when it's not time for them to heal. You can't do that. I know we want to, but you can't. I keep saying people need to go to therapy, but I can't make you go to therapy. But you should go to therapy. My friend asked me 10 years ago. I was like, why do I need to talk about it? And then I thought, who better to talk about it than me? Because I don't care. I literally, I literally don't care. And I realized a lot of times in my life, I literally don't care. I I'm going to talk about every fucking thing. If you stay around, you hit the follow button or follow on any one of these, I'm going to talk about every fucking thing. This channel might make you real uncomfortable because if you are not healed from your childhood traumas or it, I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm just talking about shit to make you think. If you are a parent, you definitely are going to catch it from me. Not just on purpose, not on purpose, not intentionally. I just want you to be the greatest parent that you could be. You ever hear like somebody say, I'm not going to be like my mother or my father, and then they turn around and be the same person? Because, it's the thing that you bump up against. It's the thing that you like, I'm not going to do. You always end up doing it. I'm not going to be successful. And then here I am, successful. But that's all I got, y'all. Tamika, I don't even know what's going on because some people been saying they haven't been getting the notifications for the meditations either. I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe YouTube's like she ain't been posting in a while. We don't know what's going on with her. But hey, don't worry, because y'all gonna see me. Y'all gonna see a lot of me this week. Mm-hmm. A lot of me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I was sitting over here on the sidelines like I got videos. I was not gonna upload them. I'm uploading those videos this week. So y'all might be getting a slew of videos. I'm gonna do a bunch of premieres. I'm tapping into everything. Everything I'm tapping in. If you on YouTube and you see a little blue button, you could click that if you want to. I mean, you should click it. But I got a video coming for that. That's to join the channel. Like if you want to know how I do all of this stuff on the screen, or you want to know about live streaming, you want to do join the channel. We're gonna have talks monthly. We could talk all the time. I love talking if you can't tell. Um, that's all I got. Remember, I will never let anytime you see my beautiful face and these gorgeous dimples go out without me telling you to love yourself. Self love. Love yourself. Know yourself. Trust yourself. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. If no one has told you in the first 2 months and 6 days of 2022, I will take pride in being the first to tell you I love you. You don't even know me. You never seen me before in my life, but guess what? I love you. I believe in you and I trust you. I trust that you will recognize who you are and you will walk in that. Mm, that was good. That was good. You ever be saying something and be like, "Dang, I can't believe I just said that." Yep. I trust in your ability to have the confidence. That's what I hope that as you watch this, you found the confidence, the courage to even attempt to do it. Because once you do it, it's out of your system. Then boom, you good. You out there. Like once you walking, you getting ready to cross the street and you look both ways, there ain't no cars. And once you get to the middle island, you ever cross the busy. That's when you cross the busy street. Like those. That's like playing. That's a game because there's no cars. And you get to the middle island, then it's like a slew of cars, and you have to get on the other side. Once you get over there, you good. You good. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me for 2 hours. Um, see y'all after this at like 10 o'clock for nighttime meditations. And then if you a real closeted freak, that's what your names is. Not that, not sexual, but like, weird. Not weird in a bad sense. People that are unique. That's what I'm gonna call you. Closet freaks, people that are unique. If you a real one, join me over on TikTok at 11. I'm doing gospel tonight. I'm gonna try my hand at gospel. It's funny. And then if not, I'll see you in the morning for Monday motivation. That's hilarious. Um, hold on, Helen. Don't go anywhere. Hold on, I'm doing something right now. Hold on, Helen. Do not leave. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear it now? Okay. Um, there we go. I was able to do it. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you, Helen. I'm so happy to see everybody that stayed throughout the night on all of the different platforms. I appreciate y'all. Y'all make what I do worthwhile. You make what I do worthwhile. And I truly appreciate y'all. And I hope y'all, hit one of the things right here. I got good at it now. Um, y'all see I'm able to do it now. Follow me on all of those things. If you join the Discord, my Discord gonna be cracking this week because I'm adding audio, voice, so I can leave messages. I'm telling y'all, I'm on everything. You got Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch. You now. I'm definitely over on you now, and YouTube. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere where you should be. Anyways, that's all I got. I love y'all. Until next time, you are welcome, Helen. You are so very much welcome. Until next time, have a beautiful evening. Love on your people. Tell them how much you love them. Don't be afraid to do that. You should do that. Given we are surviving a global fucking pandemic for 2 years, 2 months, and 6 days, you should be telling everybody how much you love them. You should. Silence is not an option. That's all I got. I hope to see y'all the next time. Until next time. Peace.